Hey, everybody, and welcome to our weekly show, or welcome back to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping, where we review one of the top racing cars from around the United States. We will select a four-way sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us. Week 29 of the racing season, well, it created a bit of a dilemma for the Three Broke Guys. Would we go to Saratoga or would we go into Del Mar Racetrack? For those of you who joined us for the earlier show, you know we decided to avoid any charges of any kind of bias, and we're doing both. So first up was Del Mar. We went from the West Coast to the East, and now we are going to go to historic Saratoga Racetrack in Saratoga Springs, New York. The pick four there starts in race number 8. It ends in race number 11. There are 2 stakes in the pick four on Saturday. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. It's our East Coast handicapper. He is joining us from Staten Island, New York. Ray Torado, let's just say you're a lot closer to Saratoga than I am. Are you planning any trips to the spa this summer?
Yes, I am. I'm hoping to do a 2-day, two race card overnight stay. I'm about 200 miles away, so you're talking 3 hours plus. So it's doable, and I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, also up is our West Coast handicapper. He is from Temecula, California, and he still has a smile on his face from opening day at Del Mar this past Wednesday. Joe English, how are you doing today? And when is your next planned visit to where the surf meets the turf?
I think Rich and I have already exchanged texts about possibly going next Friday night, if I remember correct.
Yeah, yes.
You can see the celebration on Rich's face.
Going to Del Mar next Friday after I get off from work.
Oh,
Yes.
boy. That's the way to start the weekend.
Yeah, it is. All right.
Hell
We're
yeah.
gonna go
As Stone Cold Steve Austin would say, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. For those of you who didn't catch the earlier show, last week we did play Indiana Grand in Shelbyville, Indiana. Thank you to everybody over there at Indiana Grand. That was a wonderful track to play. We had not played it before, but I think you have made a way into our schedule. There's a little bit of a spot here in that summer right before Del Mar and Saratoga. I did enjoy Indiana Grand. So we did not hit our pick four. We are 0 for 6 so far in the second half. No knock on Shelbyville, Indiana, though.
There you go.
Yeah, send us down to AAA. We don't start performing. Let's do this.
Ego. Oh, man. That's the one. Slipped away.
I said we could have just took the remaining balance and
Yeah.
popped it
We
in
had the
there.
other 3. We had the other 3. Oh, man. All right. Anyways. Next.
Time for a brief weather update from Saratoga Springs, New York. The forecast for Saturday calls for a few clouds from time to time. There's a high of, I've actually got the wrong forecast here for Saratoga. Ray, have you got any idea what the weather is looking like up there in Saratoga Springs, New York?
Hold on. I'll tell you real quick.
It's almost like
I think I've
Miami.
got Del Mar's up there.
There's always a threat of rain during the day at some point.
Every day is
Well,
Well,
I was going to say,
It's a lot like
Thanks.
Miami in that regard.
Let's see.
But I haven't heard anything negative, so
No, cloudy, 80 degrees. Doesn't look like it's too much rain today, so that's
Sticky.
good sign. Humid,
Okay.
80 degrees, so
Mhm.
fast and firm.
perfect Saratoga day. My apologies for the foul up there.
Mhm.
All right,
Okay.
a total of 11 races. There are 2 stakes on tap for Saturday. For today, we are focused on the pick four. It begins in race number 8. It concludes in race number 11. I've got all 3 broke guys together. So, gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gate. It's pick four post time.
Let's do it.
It's time to
Day
shove.
number
Let's
2.
go.
Day 2.
All right, approximate post time is 5:02 p.m. Eastern. I do not know if there's a guarantee in this pick four either, but I would imagine being Saratoga in the first weekend that there's some kind of a guarantee in that pick four. Race number 8, they are going 1 mile on the inner turf. It's an optional claimer for non-winners of 2. Purse is $90,000. It is up to $16,200 for New York State bred, foaled, or sired horses because, again, it pays to be New York bred. This is for fillies and mares 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won $10,000 twice, other than maiden, claiming, starter, or state bred allowance, or which have never won 3 races, or price of $62,500. In short, just about anybody could be in this race. 12 starters, and your morning line favorite at 5-2 is in post number 1. It's Volatility Index, trained by Chad Brown and ridden by Javier Castellano. Ray, we're in your backyard, so of course you're hitting leadoff for the 3 boat guys this week.
All right. This is a pretty contentious, wide open race for me. We have a lot of horses here coming from Belmont and other parts of the country. You know, the thing about Saratoga is that they come from all over the country. They come from the Churchill and Gulfstream, and even South California too. So you have a lot of horses, and you look for the horse for courses. You look for This puts your handicapping skills at use. Really does. In this race, I decided to go five deep. I like the horse on the rail. Number one, volatility index. He's moving up in conditions for Chad Brown. She's 2 for 3 with a second, going through the conditions, and she's running well. She gets speed for the rail. I think she can save ground every step of the way, which is very important on the inner turf, the tight turns there. You get Castellano, Chad Brown. They're a lethal combination anywhere, especially Saratoga. So that would be my top choice. I do like the horse right next to him, the other stablemate, Jade, number 2 for Chad Brown again. Arad Ortiz rides. They're teaming up. This horse is coming up for slight layoff. I look for this horse to be off running mid pack and probably pounce late. Kind of consistent, but kind of a bridesmaid. If you notice, 12 starts with a couple wins and 6 seconds there. So um, this horse likes the play spot, but with a good trip, can get up. Did win his last race. I do like the favorite here, Price to Perfection, another former tri-bound horse. Um, Went to Grand Motion, the first start of the year. As a favorite, I kind of see this horse a little undervalued, but dropping in class. They just have 2/3 of Saratoga, and I need to include them just like we call it the eagle angle. Include this horse as a favorite. The closer might work out the trip there. He had a good figure last race. So, but could run off well off the layoff, which she has before. So, I do like 10 Stellar Rose, one last year Saratoga, which I like. They come back again off the slight layoff. You got Joe Rosario, Christopher Clement. This horse got a strong finish at the mile, so coming from the outside, 8-1 the good price. And last but not least, 6 Giola Stella, 5-1. Just stopped in the off of turf last time in a slop in her return race. This horse can improve and sit right outside the number one volatility index. Cutting back to mile definitely helps with Lulu Saez and Clement. Clement has a couple of them in this race, so it's pretty wide open. I'm going five deep here. I go to 1, 2, 5, 10, and 6 on my pick 4. Joe, take it away.
Well, I wasn't sure. It's funny. I didn't think about that until you were talking, Ray. I was looking at Christophe Clement has 2 horses, and actually, I think this is the Tennessee. Yeah, no, I know Chad. Well, Chad Brown. Yeah. If Chad Brown has any less than 2 horses in any turf race in New York City, I'd be shocked. But no, it's funny because I was actually looking at the names of both horses, and I was like, this is a Tennessee Williams streetcar named Desire Angle? Is Stella? Is that one of the characters in that? I'm not sure. I'm not a big fan, but I guess my wife is chiming in. So it's the Tennessee Williams angle for me. I went 6'10". Just like Ray mentioned, I like the fact that Joya Stella, Joya. Well, again, I'll leave it to Larry Colmus to pronounce the names. Yeah. That's what he's paid to do.
Get your wife over there.
Yeah. No, I just figured, like I said, I put really very little credence in the first dirt race. It's the return race. Obviously Clement wanted to get this horse a race, and Saez gets aboard. Saez has been aboard the horse before down at Gulfstream Park, and the fact that she ran against My Impression, who turns up in the Diana today in the Grade 1. And she wasn't beaten all that badly. She was only a half length back at the stretch call, and she only lost by 2 lengths. I think this horse has a little bit of class to her, and I would assume she'll be able to duplicate that effort. The one in the Win of Memories today, being this is her second start off the layoff. And like Ray mentioned, Stella Rose, that was the other horse I was choosing. I actually was going against the rail runner volatility index because I guess I'm a little bit of a figure handicapper, and I'm seeing that the pars for this level, the speed figure is a 91, and Brisnet volatility index hasn't run 91 as of yet, and there are other horses in this race who have. I understand the horse being the favorite because of the Chad Brown Javier Castellano angle, but I was playing against that horse only because as a figure handicapper, the horse hadn't reached the par for the level yet, and there were other horses in this race who had, especially both the two horses that I picked, and there are a number of others. So to me, I think Volatility Index is a favorite that you could probably play against. At least I would be playing against. I have no problem for people who would want to include him in a multi-race wager, because it's really hard to just toss Chad Brown without having some good reason for it. But as a 5-2 as a morning line favorite who hasn't reached the par for the level yet, I would be against Volatility Index. 6-10 for me today in the Tennessee Williams angle, the first race of the late pick 4 on Diana Day, opening weekend at Saratoga 2017. Rich?
Yeah, either bet all the Chad Brown horses or bet all the Christopher Clement horses, or if you're, like my good friend Ray, bet all the Chad Brown horses and the Christopher Clement horses, which is what I went and just did. So what you heard Ray do, I went 1, 2, 5, 6, 10. If I have to pick one out of all of them, actually, Joe was on the one I liked the most, which is Goya. My check. I did like the little bit of speed.
Richard. I'm sorry, Richard, kind of breaking up.
The horses got some class. And then, of course, forgive me, off the leg.
Rich?
Ahead and move along to race number. This is the first of the.
There you go.
Am I there, you guys?
Yeah. You kind of your whole segment was kind of breaking up.
Yeah, I had a feeling I better come back from the I think from the share a little bit too quickly. So can you still hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you better now. Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. My PC might be struggling with the double header.
Maybe we need more than a 5-minute break next time if we do this.
Yeah. All right. We are moving on to the first of the 2 stakes that they are offering today at Saratoga. It is race number 9, 6 furlongs. This is the Sanford Stakes. 6 furlongs on the main track, excuse me. The Sanford Stakes, grade 3. Purse is $150,000 for 2-year-olds only. 8 starters, and your morning line favorite is in post number 7. It's Direct Dial, trained by Steve Asmussen and ridden by Jose Ortiz. 5-2 on the Saratoga morning line. Folks, they've been running the Sanford Stakes since 1913, and it was the 7th running of the Sanford in 1919 that Man of War lost his only race to a horse called, come on guys, who defeated Man of War? Upset. There you go. Joe, Upset. You are up first in the Sanford. Do you like Direct Dial, or are we looking at an upset?
Well, the horse I like best is, I wouldn't necessarily consider it an upset, but if you're talking about the morning line favorite, yeah. I did have one thing to say about was this race named after Fred Sanford, the guy who did the garbage on TV, Sanford and Son? Maybe he was the one who did this back in 1913. I don't know if he was that old back then. Anyway, sorry, I had to throw in that non sequitur always. The horse I like is the horse on the rail. I like the one Psychoanalyze. Give me the speed at Saratoga. I will take that all day long. He's got the best early speed figure. The rail is a little bit of a concern, but I also like Brian Lynch's record. And obviously, you see overall he's got a positive ROI and even a better positive ROI in graded stakes races. And this horse won at 14-1 at first asking, and actually beat a returning winner, Brooklyn Law back in June at Belmont. Again, 14-1. You're not going to get 14-1 this day. Like I said, the rail's a little bit of a concern, but if the horse breaks well, like I said, I'm all in the Brian Lynch camp, and his positive ROI for the year and in graded stakes is obviously something not to be ignored. And of course, speed is always dangerous at Saratoga. Speed's dangerous at 6 furlongs. Those are things you've heard us say on the show before, so I don't necessarily need to repeat them. I did like Direct Dial a little bit. He's also got a little bit of speed. Actually stepped up and ran pretty well in the stakes race for Asmussen. And Jose Ortiz gets back aboard. He was 2-1 that day. Is not the favorite. Steve will have him ready. I have no qualms about that. It's pretty odd to have not taken a Todd Pletcher horse in the first 2-year-old stake in Saratoga. Obviously, there are no Chad Browns in here, and Pletcher does have 2. But my top 2 choices are the 1 and the 7, basically based on I'm going to take the 2 speed horses, see which one survives the duel, and hope they can hold off the closers in this spot. And the fact that it's a pretty competitive spot, but I don't expect to see any. There won't be. I don't expect to see a 3 to 5 favorite. This race looks pretty wide open to me as well, and you can go deeper than the 2 I went with. And I'll mention 2 other horses I like later in the pick 4 segment. So 1 and 7 on top for me in the Sanford, right?
All right. This time of year, usually I get excited with these 2-year-olds because this is how it is. You get the 2-year-olds, the upcoming future, and you have to get excited about all these upcoming races. In this race, I do like number 6, Baffin. I think he had a nice maiden win, by almost 5 lengths. A Churchill for Asmussen, 58 flat, even money. Yeah, that's a pretty good time. I don't think he was pushed as much. I mean, he won written out, so I think this horse has more to offer. I think he'll be on the lead, close to the lead, probably. His side, Justin Phillips, ran well here. He won the Vanderbilt, placing the Forgo. 3 solid breezes on the train track. Deeper, the track is deeper there, so it builds a little stamina. So I like Baffin on top. I do like also the horse next to him, number 5, Admiral Jimmy. He's coming off a good maiden win, the Gulfstream, going 4.5 furlongs. He's had speed also, drew off. He ran the Tremont, broke last, picked up 4 lengths to finish 3rd, right behind Direct Dial. So, I forgive him for that race. First time stake race, and he had a decent kick at the end. Castellanos is aboard. Side Jimmy Creed, he's bred to win early, and you got Pletcher there, Castellanos. So these horses, Pletcher always cranks them up. I do like number 2, Bal Harbor, 6-1. He broke his maiden also with a sloppy track, the Gulfstream. He got a good leg kick. I think this horse will be better as the distance get longer. His side, First Samurai, went hopeful in Saratoga in 2005. So you got there Johnny V, you got Pletcher. So they're, this horse a little slight on the figures, but he look to improve as they go longer. I do like Direct Dial, favorite. He could be fast out of the gate. Broke his maiden by 7 at 4.5 furlongs. So he was zooming that day. He led the Tremont field before gave it away to the winner. He Hate Me. You got Jose Ortiz there, so he was 4-0 favorite. So in the Sanford, that's what I'm gonna go. 6, 5, 2, and 7 in my pick 4. All right, Rich, take it away.
Initially, I was not going to split my Asmussens here. So there's 2 Todd Pletchers in here. There's 2 Steve Asmussens. For whatever reason, it doesn't happen very often. I just did not gravitate towards Todd Pletcher's horses in this race. So initially, I was looking at Baffin as my top pick with Direct Dial, the favorite, kind of as my backup choice. And you see that I've lost all my check marks and all my marks. I must have closed out of my program without saving. So, but my top pick in this race actually ended up being almost a name play for any horse player. Psychoanalyze, Brian Lynch, Luis Saez. Luis Saez is actually a deadly rider when he gets a early speed rate horse like that. So 33% that those 2 are hitting together. The horse has a right to improve. Came out in that 1 maiden race. And again, you heard Joe talk about it, had actually beaten the next out winner. And I'm not sure what that horse's exact name is, but the horse has a right to improve off that first race. It was at Belmont, and so I'm looking for the 1 to take it. Unfortunately, I did not decide to toss out the 2 Asmussens, so I'm going to use the 1 with the 2 Asmussens, the 6 and the 7. I did like the 6 a little bit better than the 7. I like Baffin with Ricardo Santana and Steve Asmussen. They hit 28% together. That's really more of his main guy down there at Oaklawn when Asmussen's got all of his guns firing. And Ray kind of alluded to the fact of the horse showed speed, and it looks like he kind of did it all by himself and just kind of pulled away from people with Corey Lannery aboard. Now he switches over to Ricardo Santana. So I've got 1, 6, 7. I believe Joe has got 1, 7, and Ray has 6, 527. I get those all correct?
Yep.
All
I'll
right.
add the one.
Yes, sir.
My bets. Thank you.
I am going to go ahead and come on
Add the
back.
one. He's all right.
All right, and we are going to move along here to, this is race number 10, and this is the feature. They're going a mile and an eighth on the turf. It's the Diana Stakes. Grade 1, purse is $500,000 for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. 6 starters, and your morning line favorite is in post number 3. Her name is Lady Eli, trained by Chad Brown and ridden by Irad Ortiz. They come in as your 4 to 5 morning line favorite. The race is named after the mythical Roman goddess Diana. The favorite is the mythical equine goddess Lady Eli. They have equally compelling tales. Ray, who is your pick in the feature on the first summer Saturday at Saratoga?
Well, this weekend we have a pair of 3s that look pretty good. One in Del Mar, one in Saratoga. So Lady Eli, she stamped herself as one of the queens of the turf of all time. And she's, 8 for 11. She's actually, ahead at nose and 3/4 of being unperfect 11 for 11. So, they lose once in a while, but she's pretty good. I'm happy she's back for her near fatal battle of laminitis in both front feet. So just happy she's back. She's 2 for 2, 9 furlongs. I'm gonna single her. I know Dickinson beat her last year. In April, got to best of her. She was coming off a long layoff. But you know what, Lady Liz, she's the one to beat here. She's the one to beat. Lady, I'm gonna single her. Nothing else to say. She should win. Joe.
Boy, this is going to be a short segment. Yeah, I don't really know that I have much to add. Obviously, Chad Brown does, saddle Antono in here. Some people might think that that's, I don't know if that's necessarily, it's not a negative sign against Lady Eli. I mean, Chad Brown, like I said earlier, if there's a turf race, he's got 2 horses in it. It doesn't make any difference. I mean, I guess, like I said, Lady Eli is not perfect. Again, 8 for 11. You cannot argue that record. And she's been doing it all over the country. You see, even just since she came back, Saratoga, Belmont, Santa Anita, Keeneland, Santa Anita, and now Saratoga again. So it's not like she hasn't been traveling. She ships. She's going to get bet, and maybe actually because of the presence of Antono, you might actually get even better than 4 to 5. I'm kind of thinking she might drift up a little bit, only because, like Riches want to say, people don't want to split their Chad Browns. So maybe you might even get even money with Lady Eli. I know she's a popular horse, but like I said, with Chad Brown being the trainer on both of those horses, I could easily see some of that money going to Antono as well, and maybe she'll even drift up from 4 to 5. I'm interested to see more what the odds board says at post time. Again, Lady Eli's the one to beat. As you saw in the game, she can be placed anywhere. 5-horse field, she was up closer to a faster pace than she normally does. Usually you'll see her coming from behind, and the paces are generally slower on the East Coast. She can pretty much do anything, and she's the one to beat. So like Ray, I went with Lady Eli as a single here. Rich?
Let's see. I'll come on back to you guys for a moment, and I will tell you that Lady Eli is actually, I would normally tell you that Lady Eli is actually my favorite female horse in the country right now, except for the fact that right there on the calendar behind you, which this calendar actually came from my good friend Ray, is pictured Songbird winning the Alabama last year at Belmont, and she'd be extremely upset if I mentioned my favorite female horse without mentioning Songbird in the same breath. So Songbird and Lady Eli, and I am not going to spend any time or waste anybody's time telling you why I like Lady Eli. You've just heard too much about her already. So since I'm already back, I will tell you that Ray went with the 3, Joe went with the 3, Rich went with the 3. Apparently, in the third leg today, we're all going with the 3, no matter which track we're at, Del Mar or Saratoga, as Ray alluded to. So 3s are wild, and I am going to go ahead, and we are going to move on into the finale. This is race number 11. They are going a mile and a 16th on the inner turf. It's a claiming race. It's a $50,000. Purse is $67,000. And up to $12,060 for New York State bred, foaled, or sired. It is for 3-year-olds and upward. 12 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 11. High Noon Rider, trained by Michael Maker and ridden by Jose Ortiz, 7-2 on the Saratoga morning line. Joe, if Ray hit leadoff, then you must be hitting cleanup. Who do you like in the finale from Saratoga?
I just want to know who kicked in the $60, $12,060. Ray, was that you that kicked in the extra $60?
Yeah, it's the 320s.
It seems like a pretty odd amount, actually. But
that's a check from last year. They didn't cash. My ticket.
Did anybody find out who kicked in the extra $60? Please let us know on Twitter or on YouTube. Actually, I went with the outside horse. I generally don't necessarily like to go with the outside horses, but the horses I like here are kind of price horses. Shalako is what it looks like to me is the name of it. 6 for 17 lifetime. Chris Englehart, obviously you see that second start with the trainer, 36% positive ROI. For a lot of the same reasons I liked the horse in the other turf race, Joy Estella, for basically, the return. Her return was on a sloppy dirt race where to me is not something you factor in. This is the same situation. The $80,000 claiming was an off the turf race. Obviously, the comment you see is trailed, no impact. Okay, that's fine. I don't necessarily need to see an impact in a dirt race. The horse has won on the dirt before, but I'm like, okay, it's fine, not a big deal. And the horse was claimed by Englehart. So I like Shalako in this spot. The horse's figures are above the par for the level on the turf. The horse has 1 2 for 2 at Saratoga, obviously. And Manny Franco is not a bad jockey. The people on the East Coast know. He's not in the Jose Ortiz, Irad Ortiz, Javier Castellano, John Velasquez level, but he can bring home a price horse, and I'll take 15-1 after Lady Eli in a pick 4. On top, Shalako, I think the horse will sit a nice trip. Should be maybe even have the lead off the turn, turning for home. I just hope she doesn't get stuck out wide. Again, Manny Franco will work out the trip for her. She's my top choice. My second choice in the race is also a long shot, and that's the number 3, Chiltern Street, who we've seen before. Or at least I think we've seen before. She's been running in high-grade allowance races at Belmont and at Keeneland. And I don't mind the fact that the horse was claimed out of a non-winners with 3 lifetime race. Was with the Wesley Ward barn, but Robertino Diodoro, those figures, 21% for the year, 25% first after the claiming repeat, all those things are, those numbers are pretty big numbers. So and the fact that he's one of the top 2 prime power choices for Briss in this spot, I think this horse has a chance. The horse is going to be on the lead. He's got the speed. He's the speed of the speed, and he's the one they're going to have to beat turning for home. The horse has been able to successfully navigate at a mile and a 16th before. Another horse who finished second last year by a nose at Saratoga at about this level. And again, you're getting 10-1. Again, Angel Arroyo and Diodoro. Look at that jockey trainer last 60 days percentage, 28%, and a sample size of 36. So you're getting with my top 2 picks, you're getting a 15-1 and a 10-1. Horses will be on, one of the horses will be on the lead, hopefully, and the other horse will be hopefully stalking in a nice, decent spot, turning for home. I think that I don't want to say that the favorites are vulnerable, but this is another one of those wide open turf races at Saratoga that we usually get every summer. So the 12 and the 3 are on top for me in this spot. So I will hand it off to Ray. I'm not sure how deep he went in his pick 4, but you will hear that now. Ray?
Yeah, this race I went 5 deep. I'm pretty wide open for me also. I did start with the number 8, Super Fast. She got some middle kick. She's 7 for 16 in the exacta. First time David Jacobson, 22%. He hits that one. Lascano rides for him. She got some good speed and to get into position, and on the turf you get a tight turn like I said before, so he just stay pretty much on the inside. He gets a good break. I like the horse Joe, number 3, Chiltern Street. Just got caught last year in the optional claiming race last year at the spot, so this horse coming back from last year, ran well. Been sprinting lately for Wesley Ward. First time Deodoro, get some good stats there, like you said, 25%, 20% for over a year. Angel Royal, upcoming good young jockey, so he's definitely worth a play at 10-1. Um, and number 4, Glorious Empire, right next to him, 12-1, Julian Leperoux. This horse is claimed by Carlos Martin, who picks him up 22%. First time claiming from Thomas Morley. This horse also been sprinting. Definitely going to improve at the distance. You got Leperoux there. He could come alive with a new jockey, so you get some price horses here. Yeah, this is going to be a good race down the stretch. We'll see. Traffic also is going to come to play too. Traffic trouble and whatever. Number 9, Blop. Blop. 5-1. Joe Sharp ships his one in from the Churchill, 18%. So he was a favorite the last race. He had traffic trouble. He could get a nice outside trip here this time. He'll be running well at the end. This is his same same class, 50,000. Number 11, High Noon Rider. You mentioned him. This is one of our horses here from our favorite owners, the Ramses. They show up. They come all dressed up, and Kenneth and Sal Ramsey like the winner's circle. So you got Jose Ortiz there, Leperoux, who went off for Glorious Empire. So this horse been running well in this condition. He's 1 for 3 Saratoga, and this horse will be close. He'll be in the. You got a little bit of speed. But probably come from mid pack, make a run from the outside. So try and save ground if you can. So I'll go 8, 3, 4, 9, 11, and the last leg might pick 4. Hopefully I'm still alive. All right, Rich. Toughest for you.
Yeah, no, this was a very difficult finale. The thing I was going to allude to, and actually, Joe, I wanted to give you some props. So don't let that. So Joe's top 2 choices here. He's on the 3, which is Chiltern Street, and he alluded that that's the number 2 in the Prime Power, and he's on the number 12, which is Shalako. Shalako is number 1.
Number 1, yeah.
Yeah, number 1 in the Prime Power, and so you're speaking up for one of our sponsors here, or one of our benefactors, I guess, which is the Brisnet, the people who do the Brisnet forms. You don't often get really big prices there. I mean, as you see there, the favorite High Noon Rider is number 3. So it's not often that you get the big prices there with the Prime Power. And there's Joe on both of them, the Shalako and Chiltern Street. I unfortunately, my top pick, my check mark has dropped off. I was on Superfast, so I did like the 8. I like Jose Lascano, David Jacobson together there. Again, I was looking for a speed type here in a place that, as a matter of fact, probably still does not play to speed. This is part of my California preferences. So, yeah, 27% are going wire to wire here at this racetrack. And you see, well, at least a little bit over 50%. You do see 32% going to the P type. So I just went with the 8 on top here. I started to run out of choices because I've gone a little bit deeper earlier, and I kind of like Joe's choices there with the 3 and the 12. In the Prime Power things, but I am just going to leave it with my 8. I've got Joe with the 3 and the 12, and I have Ray with the 3, the 4. Excuse me, you started with the 8, and then the 3, the 4, the 9, and the 11.
I like the 12 too, but right on the money. The budget didn't call for it. I like the 12 also, Shalako. Yeah, so number 1 Prime Power. Yeah, I did. So I'll play them on my own personal tickets.
Awesome.
I got money in the account, so.
All right, and I'm going to come back to you.
Bombs away, folks.
Love it.
Okay, so we have come to our segment here. I am going to go ahead and I'll disappear behind the scenes here and work on the group pick 4 ticket. And in the meantime, I am going to turn it over to Joe and to Ray, and they are going to share with you their individual pick 4 tickets for Saratoga. And once again, my apologies. I did not have an opportunity to go ahead and post those up on the screen. If you see me, I might come running to the rescue here at the end and try and get those in for you. So other than that, Ray, I am going to turn it over to you. You are up first on your individual pick 4 from the spa.
Okay, I have a I believe it's a $50 ticket here. I'm going 5 deep in the first leg, like I mentioned. Number 1, Volatile Index, Penjad. Number 2, Price for Perfection. 5 was a favorite, and Joe's 2 horses, 10 Stella Rose and 6 Goya Stella. So the 2 Stellas, and we go 1, 2, 5, 10, 6. This race is pretty wide open, so you can't go wrong. You can get a good price either way. There's no heavy favorite here. So just look for a trip, and hopefully the horse comes in. Race 9, you get the stake race here, 2 roads. Most of them have won Uh, I believe there's no two-time winners, but you have a lot of horses here trying stake race for the first time. So I went with a couple of Pletchers, Baffin, Asmussen, and also I with Jimmy, and then Bad Harbor Direct Dial. Um, I do like the one also the Psycho Allies you mentioned. But the budget didn't call for it, so I'll probably include him my other ticket on my account. So Sanford's a good race, 2-year-olds. It's stepping up to grade 3. And Saratoga usually has 3 of them for the meet, so this is the first one. In the Diana, well, we can say Lady Eli, single. I mean, to include anybody else, you double the ticket, but she's much as pretty good as a win bet as you can get. I know Dixon has beaten her. Antonio's on the verge of getting better, but for now, Lady Eli is the one to beat. So she gets a good trip. She's good, went very well. Most likely winner. Race 11. Well, I went a little deep here with the super fast 8, Chota Street and Glorious Empire, and Blop and High Noon Rider, the 834, 911. I went 5 deep. So that's my pick for a ticket, $50. You got the 125, 10-6 with the 6527, with the 3, with the 834, 911. In my pick four. All right, Joe. How's your pick four looking there?
It's actually looking a lot slimmer than yours. But I understand going deep, trying to, especially, I mean, we did the same thing with Arrogate earlier on the Delmar show. So going deeper to try and get alive to Lady Eli and then ultimately into the last leg. I just, like I said, I went 6-10 in the first leg, as I described in the earlier part of the show. In the Sanford, I went 1-7, but there are a couple other horses that I think I could include. The 3 Forenzi Fire, Irad Ortiz for Jason Service, who ships in from Monmouth off a nice maiden win with Antonio Gallardo. And I like the fact that the horse Service's statistics with the maiden winner in his last race. He's got a positive ROI and 33% winners out of a 61 race sample. So those are pretty solid numbers. And Monmouth Shippers, I mean, this is, I don't know that this is necessarily the strongest field of New York 2-year-olds. And maybe the Monmouth Shipper can come in and get all the candy here. I also liked a little bit the 4 Free Drop Billy as a closer who won at 5.5 furlongs at Monmouth. And if for whatever reason there is a pace meltdown, maybe Psychoanalyze and Direct Dial go at it early, and maybe even Ray's other choice, Baffin, if they decide to go at it early, maybe a closer can win. I'm not as fond of horses from Churchill Downs at Saratoga. Generally, they have a tendency to underperform. But in a case like this, like I said, if there's a pace meltdown, this is the horse I like the best. Dale Romans has a knack of getting horses ready for a stakes race, obviously, as we've seen with other horses in the past. Key Nice, not necessarily the Key Nice who won for Pletcher recently, but Key Nice did beat American Pharaoh a couple years ago. So it was 1-7-3-4 in leg 2. Ray already covered Lady Eli in the third leg of this pick 4, so I don't need to go any further there. I will mention there was one other horse in the 11th race that I liked, who's also a price horse, and it's the 9, the horse that Ray mentioned, Blarp for Joe Sharp. And again, I hope Louis Saez kind of has a big day. Like you said, Ray, the horse had trouble last time out at Churchill on the turf. Churchill turf horses have a tendency to do better than Churchill dirt horses up at Saratoga. So I like Blarp's last race. I think he's coming up to a good one. Again, Saez gets aboard. The horse has been working regularly at Belmont, and they ship up for this. He hasn't really done well. I mean, he hasn't done well in the stakes races, but obviously you can see back in his performances at Kentucky Downs and at Indiana Grand and even at the fairgrounds, pretty decent records in the optional claiming ranks at other tracks in the Midwest. And if he takes to the Saratoga surface, he could also hit at a price. So my pick 4 was $12, 6-10 in the first leg. Race 2 in leg 2, the Sanford 1, 7, 3, and 4 in that order. Lady Eli in the Diana in race 10, and in the finale 12, Shalako, 3, Chiltern Street, and the 9, Blarp as my choices to round out the late pick 4 on this first Saturday of summer at Saratoga. Rich?
Awesome, gentlemen. Thank you very much. And I'm going to go ahead and come on back to you, and I will bring up the Three Broke Guys Saratoga pick 4. Here we go. Oh, we will go through this one. All right. In leg number 1, well, the only one that I left out was apparently the only one that got left out here was the 5. Joe, you had the 6 and the 10 on your top line, and then me and Ray ran the board on the top line here. 1, 2, 5, 6, 10. So we both had 1, 2, 5, 6, 10. I used the 1, the 2, the 6, and the 10. And we'll see if we have some cost that we can actually squeeze the 5 in if we want there at the end. The second leg, Joe, you had the 1 and the 7 on your top line. They both made it here. Ray, I believe you have the 6 as your top pick in the second race, so the 6 goes in here as well. Ray, you also had the 7, and I had the 1 on my top line as well, so that matched up with Joe. So we've got 1, 6, 7, and if it makes anybody feel better, I have the 6 and 7 on my underneath side anyway. So 1, 6, 7 there. Lady Eli is our single. This is our closer here for the day, and it's the 3, just like Arrogate was the 3. It's the third leg. 3s are wild. And in our final leg, Ray, you and I both had the 8 as our top horse, so the 8 goes in here. Joe, I believe, had the 12 as his top pick, so the 12 goes in here. And the 3, Joe, that was your second pick. That was on your top line. Ray, you also had the 3 on your top line. And I had the 3 on my underneath line after listening to Joe's analysis there. So 3, 8, 12. If we'd like, we have room. I heard the 9 kind of made it into Joe's ticket as well. And the 9 was on Ray's ticket in that last one. I believe that's Blarp. Blarp. And that would add $6 more to our ticket. And then the only horse that'd be left out was the initial race was the 5, which I think is one of the Chad Brown horses, one of the 3 Chad Browns.
Yeah, I'm okay with it the way it is. I don't know that we necessarily need to add any more, but okay. I'll leave it open to it's open to discussion. Yeah,
that was kind of where I kind of landed here. Was okay. This is a good compromise.
Ray.
Yeah, I do. Oh yeah, we both mentioned block 9. The first leg, that would add the 5. Put in the 5.
Yeah, that would take it from 18 to. If we add the 5, it'll take it from 18 to 22.50. If we add Blarp in the last race, and we just leave it as it is, then that would be $6 more, and that would be 24.
Yeah.
But if we add both, it would be what?
20, 30.
5 by 4.
That would take
5 by
30
by 3. Yeah.
I'm okay with the 18. We had, I think we had 12 for Del Mar earlier, and 18 for this, so that's about a $30 combine for our 2 tickets.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. I'm good with the 18.
All right, so we're going 1, 2, 6, 10 with 1, 6, 7. Lady Eli in 3-hole, and with the 3, 8, 12. And I will come back to you, and we are going to wrap up our double header here. Thank you for joining us today, folks. Staying in there with us for almost 2 full hours of 3 Broke Guys handicapping. We appreciate it. And for those of you watching, if you enjoyed the show, we will be back next week because that's what the 3 Broke Guys do. At the very bare minimum, we're going to have the Jim Dandy Stakes card from Saratoga next week. That's just too juicy of a card to pass up on for us. But I think Joe had put it out there in the earlier show, so we'll put it out here again. If you'd like, we could come back and do another doubleheader. Hopefully, I'll knock on wood on that one, but we could certainly do Del Mar and Saratoga again. Gotta love those summer tracks. All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for this morning. It is always a pleasure to handicap with the 2 of you.
Yes.
Always have
Twice
fun.
the fun today.
And for those, just so I'll take a quick minute to say, if you happen to run into us at Del Mar, or if you're going to be at Del Mar and you want to come and talk to us, we don't bite unless you want us to.
Mm-hmm.
For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching 3 Broke Guys handicapping. Good luck and have a really good day today. Bye, everybody.
Enjoy the racing today.
Enjoy.